Comes to that next Supreme Court justice, I won't let you down. I think loud and clear, Donald Trump is on the ballot. And Donald Trump and Bob Stefanowski and Laura Levy are like this. And I was struck, Susan, as I was just watching last night, it's certainly not your father's Republican Party any longer. Remember, the Prescott-Bush Award is the #1 award for Republicans in the state. Prescott Bush. He was a pro-choice, fiscally conservative Republican. His son and his grandson, talked about compassionate conservatism. There's nothing compassionate about this next generation of Republicans who are taking over the Republican Party, even in Connecticut. I was shocked. I didn't think it was going to happen here in Connecticut, but Mark Boughton wasn't shocked. He went through this 4 years ago. And now he's working for our administration. And it's about choice. It's about the environment. It's about the issues we care about. It's also about who we are and what we're about. And Susan and I believe deeply in this state. We've been involved in public service much of our lives. We believe that you bring people together. You respect people. You respect the total diversity of people we have. Respect them for who they are. Don't tear people apart. That's what Donald Trump does, and that's what we're not going to let happen here in the state of Connecticut, not for the next 90 days and not for the next 4 years. And Susan and I were just talking to a bunch of young entrepreneurs over there, and I love the stories they tell about their dreams and how they want to start up a business. And that's what we're running for right now. For each and every one of you guys back here, every one of you, you get the opportunity to work on your dream. The best social program, I'm a business guy, the best social program in the world is a good paying job. And even better, a good paying job perhaps in a business you started up right here in Pratt Street. And there are a lot of Pratt Streets starting up businesses all over the state of Connecticut. And we do this together. This is a state that hung together during 2.5 years of COVID hell. And we're sticking together now. We're not going to let any politicians coming in, flying in from out of state like Donald Trump did, try and tear us apart. We're going to work together as a state, work together as a country. And I really wanted to get that off my chest. And what a difference elections matter. 90 days to go. Please pay attention. Susan?
Thank you. Governor, thank you so much. Last night was very telling. Democrats put forward a very strong, competent, talented, and diverse ticket. The governor and I are so proud to be running with Stephanie Thomas, with Eric Russell, with Sean Scanlon. We think we have a winning ticket that represents Connecticut values. And all the people that have been elected in the primaries, all the people that are running on our team have a solid, strong record. They are people who supported 4 balanced budgets without raising taxes. They are people who supported the biggest tax cut in the history of our state. There are people who supported our fiscal responsibility, paying down $5.3 billion of debt. There are also people who you can count on to stand up for women's reproductive rights and for marriage equality, because those issues are on the ballot after our Supreme Court's Dobbs decision. So we are very proud of our team, and it's such a sharp contrast with the other team, because the other team has been in lockstep with Donald Trump. Bob Stefanowski gave Donald Trump an A for his performance as president. Bob Stefanowski says he's pro-choice, but he supported Brett Kavanaugh and the other conservative justices appointed by Donald Trump that have taken away our right to choose at the national level. And Bob Stefanowski refuses to say that he will defend the Roe versus Wade law that we have in Connecticut. And the governor and I And all the people who are running with us on the statewide ticket are strong defenders of our roll law. We have all been very clear that we will stand up against any attempt to weaken our roll law. Yet, Bob Stefanowski has proposed that the legislature cut back on our strong law. When you go to issues of gun safety, there couldn't be a sharper contrast. Bob Stefanowski got endorsed by the NRA in 2018. He wants to repeal our Sandy Hook gun law, and our team is in sharp contrast to that. We have banned ghost guns, strengthened gun safety measures like passing Ethan's Law, and you can count on us to continue to make Connecticut one of the states with the toughest gun laws in the country. And you can count on us to support people. How can you trust a guy who had a payday loan company that took advantage of the most vulnerable people in the country? And our administration has a record of supporting people, and you can see that in our paid family medical leave law, raising the minimum wage, our focus on diversity and equity and opportunity for everybody in our state. So we are very proud to be running with our ticket, and we are a ticket that will continue to lead in a fiscally responsible way, but also in a way that supports Connecticut values and promotes equality and opportunity for everyone in our state. Should we take questions?
Governor, we all know money makes a big difference in an election, right? And they already gave us a lot of money to professional fundraisers. But clearly the majority of Republicans who showed up at yesterday's primary voted for her and for a strong message. Where does that leave us going forward in November, unaffiliated, independents, and even moderate Republicans?
We're going to be going, Susan and I, right to those moderate Republicans, right to those independents. I think this new Republican Party has left them behind. You're right, Leora was Bob Stefanowski's finance chairman. She raised money for Donald Trump. Those three are like this right now, but not on our watch. I think, as I said before, this is a new Republican Party. I think they're leaving a lot of the moderates, they're leaving a lot of the independents, leaving a lot of folks who believe in core Connecticut values by the wayside. We're not going to let that happen.
And what's your message to voters if you feel that Trump is on the ballot in November, and yet many Democrats and even modern Republicans say that Connecticut is different? This is not the rest of the country. Is that so true anymore?
I was surprised to some degree by what happened last night. I was surprised that Donald Trump made such a difference in a Republican Party. And as you point out, I think he has an exclusionary type of politics. You're with me or against me. I think he's divisive. I think he leaves a lot of people behind, including the independents and moderate Republicans that you just referenced.
So what do you make of the fact that, yes, Trump loyalists took 60% of the primary yesterday between Laura and Peter, but 80% of Republicans didn't care to show up. So we've got a little bit of tension there about, I guess, the state of the Republican Party. So what's your takeaway from that low turnout, and what, if anything, you think it means about the attitudes towards their nominee?
I want those 80% of Republicans that didn't show up. They didn't show up for a variety of reasons. Maybe didn't like the choice. But I want them to show up in November. I want them to support Susan Bysiewicz and Ned Lamont. You know, the Republican Party used to be fiscally conservative. That had something to do with balancing budgets. That's something we have done for 4 years. We've put in place tax cuts that are supportable, that go on for a while. We begin paying down that debt. Talk about fiscal conservative. Everybody else on the other side say, don't do it, just hand out the money now. We're paying down that debt. You know what that means? That means tax cuts for your kids and grandchildren as well. A budget meant to last. I think this is a message that resonates with a lot of those Republicans who, as you said, just stayed home yesterday.
But a lot of those Republicans think that you spend too much, that you tax too much, and that you borrow too much. You can try to make this an election about Donald Trump and People's
Yeah.
And we are. And,
Go ahead,
and-
Susan.
Yeah, no, I'd say we absolutely are, Mark, because we've been talking about the things that we've done that Republicans say they want to do. Pass balanced budgets, pass tax cuts, pay down debt. Those are things Republicans say they want to do. We actually did it, and that's why we think we already have Republican and unaffiliated support, and will continue to get more support.
Well, they're saying that they want to cut taxes even more, and they propose ways to cut taxes even more. They say they're going to be better on spending and borrowing. Isn't that?
What do you mean better on spending and borrowing? I've never had anybody come into my office, Paul, and propose any spending cuts. We held the line. We've made key investments. We're paying down debt. Everybody else wanted to spend that rainy day fund. Nobody else wanted to pay down that debt. We've got a budget that's built to last. You know what that means? That means businesses are coming back to the state of Connecticut. You want to get this economy growing again? It's a lot of folks like you kids over there that want to start up businesses, and others that are beginning to grow right here.
Mr. Stefanowski has gone on record as saying that he will not change the gun law. Now, you just don't buy that promise or that pledge or that statement? But what is the basis for you to say that he's going to repeal?
4 years ago, he said he did not like the post-Sandy Hook gun safety laws. This time, he said maybe I'll leave things alone. You can't have it both ways. You got to be consistent in life. 4 years ago, he was a loud Trumpster. Now he's trying to reinvent himself as Jeb Bush. 4 years ago, Laura Levy was a strong Jeb Bush supporter. Now she's reinventing as a Trumpster. I don't know where they're going to be tomorrow, but I think you know where Susan and I are going to be. You know where we're going to be on guns. You know where we're going to be on choice. You know where we're going to be on helping get this economy going again with strong fiscally conservative principles.
And to continue on the theme that the governor started with guns, with Bob Stefanowski, he keeps waffling, changing his mind, and he's way too extreme. You can't say we have a strong choice law in our state and then 30 seconds later say we need to cut back on it. That, to me, is a person who is not going to defend our law.
Yeah, but I mean, and it's true in all. You've been around. What is it? The last time they put it back, more than 3/4 of people supported his position on parental consent. And not parental consent, excuse me, parental notification.
Yep. Yep.
On parental notification. So does that put him more in the mainstream on that issue with Connecticut voters than you do?
No, absolutely not. 2/3 of the people in our country and the people in our state support our Roe versus Wade law, and Bob Stefanowski is just too extreme on so many issues, whether it's guns, whether it's choice. He's not right for Connecticut, and I think the voters will see this over the next 3 months as we campaign.
This might be a question for Senator Sisselhoff, but I'll ask you anyway. Do you think that he goes into November's election in better shape or worse now that Leora Levy is pulled out of the
Well, just based on your previous question, I think Donald Trump, with Bob Stefanowski and Leora, leave a lot of moderate Republicans aside. In past said a lot of them didn't vote. There are a lot of reasons for that. And I think that puts Dick in a stronger position. I think Susan and I are going to be reaching out to those folks every day. I think we have a lot of those core principles in common.
And I would say, Susan, just to your point, there couldn't be a sharper contrast between Richard Blumenthal and Leora Levy, especially on choice. Dick was one of the drafters of our original Roe law in the early 90s, and Leora Levy wants to take reproductive freedom away from women. Just very clear choice.
Joe Biden campaigned for you 4 years ago. Would you like him to return this year?
Yeah, if it's a choice between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, I'm going to be with Joe Biden every day. If he wants to come up and talk about the infrastructure bill that's going to transform a lot of our 100-year-old rail into bridges, please come on up. If he wants to talk about how we're holding down health care costs with a bill that's going to be passed, I think, by the end of this week, I'd be happy to come up and talk about where we're dealing with inflation every day. Healthcare costs are eating people alive. He didn't get one Republican vote to start bringing down those healthcare costs.
Are you going to be actively seeking his endorsement now?
Look, I'm a supporter of Joe Biden. I was 4 years ago, and I am today. But I also am a Connecticut guy, and I don't care about a lot of out-of-towners coming in. If the President of the United States wants to come, I welcome him.
As a former Secretary of the State, what's your thoughts on this August primary date? You know, should we be in June? Should we be in September?
Come to the mic,
Should we be
maybe.
in July?
Yeah, so thanks for that. When we had the opportunity to change our law, and you'll remember there was a lawsuit that was brought by the Brennan Center. I think Ed Gomes was one of the plaintiffs in that case. Our legislature had to change the law based on the court case, and I suggested then that we have a June primary sometime in early to mid-June before the legislature leaves and before the school year is out, before people go on vacation. Personally, I like the June primary. I lost that debate with the legislature.
What about the pace of returns? Is it taking longer nowadays to get these results in, or has that?
I think it's quicker, and in fact, we knew the results of all of the races before 9 o'clock, pretty much.
I agree.
After what you saw last night, are you going to be altering your campaign message at all because you were so shocked to see what Connecticut voters had decided upon?
Oh, no.
No. I'm 68 years old. I am who I am. I think you know where I stand. You know where I stand on fiscal issues. You know where I stand when it comes to fundamental liberties like choice and gay rights. I'm not going to be altering my message. I'm going to reinforce it and make sure it reaches out the broadest cross-section of people out there, including Republicans and independents, business and labor, folks that feel like they've been left out. You've got a home here in Connecticut with Susan and I. Anything else before we go offline?
Yeah, any
Jake?
other board questions over here? Just 1 second.
Yeah, we'll get to you, sir.
No? Good?
Okay?
All right, good. I think we're done then. Thank you.
I'll come over here.
Yeah, we'll come
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.